Hey, Jimmy, it's a miracle. Herman Cain at the top of the polls, largely on the strength of his 999 smash the tax code reform plan. So we asked tonight, can Herman Cain capitalize on his meteoric rise? Can he defeat Mitt Romney? Can he capture the Republican nomination? I want to get a quick rip around from my sizzle free marketeers. Ann Coulter, Bernard Whitman, Jimmy Pethokoukis. Ann Coulter, can Cain do it?
I think he can capture the vice presidential nomination for Romney-Cain 2012.
Vice presidential, Bernard Whitman from the Democratic side, looking into the GOP. Can Cain do it?
Larry, I think he's got at least 9 more minutes left in him. I doubt he has 9 more months to capture the nomination, and God forbid he has 9 more years left on the stage, because if that's the case, then surely the rapture is upon us.
All right, the rapture. James Pethokoukis, what about your rapture? Can Cain do it? I ask you.
Listen, I don't think he can get the nomination, but his 999 plan has already captured the minds of the Republican Party, and it will live on beyond him.
All right, you're all wrong. Of course he can get the nomination. We'll have to see how events play out. We will see our distinguished free marketeers a bit later in the show. In 2008, President Obama got elected on Yes, We Can. Well, the mantra for 2012 could be Yes, We Cain, ha ha ha, as in Herman Cain. Why are so many flocking to the non-politician over the established governors Rick Perry and Mitt Romney? Well, our great Free Market Friday panel will debate. We have Ann Coulter, Bernard Whitman, and Jimmy Pethokoukis. They're not giving Cain enough credit. Not one of them. I'm going to take them all on. And, folks, don't forget, please, free market capitalism, it's still the best path to prosperity. Herman Cain's a capitalist. The Cutler Report will be right back. Welcome back to the Cutler Report. It's Free Market Friday. We're talking about the man who's had the best week ever, Herman Cain. He's at the top of the polls. He's got the mojo. He's got the great backstory, and he's got a plan. 999 is his plan. Let's talk about this story. Bernard Whitman is Democratic strategist, president of Whitman Insight Strategies. James Pethokoukis, a.k.a. Jimmy P., is CNBC contributor and now at the American Enterprise Institute. And Ann Coulter, syndicated columnist and author of Demonic. Before I get to Herman Cain, I have to do one other thing, okay? I just got to ask you one other thing. What is stopping Michael Bloomberg from enforcing the law and cleaning up this health hazard called occupying Wall Street? What is wrong with him, Ann Coulter? Why doesn't he clean this up? Rudy Giuliani says there's no overnight. If you want overnight, rent a room.
He's too busy enforcing the anti-smoking laws.
And he has no backbone.
Yes, and they're not overusing salt. So why move in?
Right, because they don't bother with French fries. You think Bloomberg's going to take action and stop this? The community is up in arms. It's unsanitary. It's unhealthy. It's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, for heaven's sake.
Listen, you have this like third world shanty town in the middle, in the heart of America's most important city. I think it's going to go away. You know, the sooner the better.
You think Bloomberg's going to clean them out? They wouldn't even let the real estate company, what is it, Brookside, do the power sweep, the power clean. They wouldn't even let him do that. That's pathetic. Where's the law and order, Bernard?
Larry, you've got it completely wrong. Mayor Bloomberg is absolutely right. Why? This movement has, unlike anything else, captured the hearts and minds of Wall Street, of Main Street, of East Street, social media. It is all over the place. Why? I'll tell you why.
That's
because everybody agrees. Everybody agrees with why they're there.
Why don't they get a hotel room? Why don't they get a hotel? In other words, I agree. The Tea Party has a rally and they go home.
We take some of the money from millionaires and fund their hotel rooms? Is that it?
That group is filled with a bunch of 20-year-olds who've been privileged their entire life. No one's ever said no to them. They, good job at soccer. It's exactly the same thing. Someone's going to say no. I hope it's Michael Bloomberg. I don't know. Maybe it needs to be the governor, bring in the National Guard and clean them out of there.
Coulter, do you have a thought on this before we move back to Herman Cain?
I don't know how you can say everyone agrees with why they're there when they don't even know why they're there. They say they're against Wall Street and they're protesting Rupert Murdoch and the Koch brothers. That's a chemical company and a media company.
Hold on.
And they walk right past George Soros' apartment to protest those two.
Let me explain something. Let me explain something to the 3 members of the panel who obviously don't get it. Everybody in this country supports the fact that the gap between rich and poor is too big. They want more taxes on the rich. Income inequality is at its highest level.
Warren Buffett.
Slow down.
And hold on just one second. The favorability of this movement is twice that of the Tea Party.
It always happens. That favorability will go down fast.
15 minutes are up.
Bernard, you're missing the point.
This has captured the minds of America.
Go to Buffett's house.
No, I'm sorry, Larry.
Unsanitary and uncleanly. money, and it's breaking
And they're
the
not
backs.
protesting
and they
the rich.
happen to have the support of the majority of people in this country, and they will stay. They absolutely do. 86% of people want the people responsible for the Wall Street meltdown prosecuted.
86 would be scared to walk by that park. 86%.
The thing is, 100% of New Yorkers want their park back. And Coulter,
not true.
Why don't you think Herman Cain can win the nomination? This is a serious point. The whole world is talking about his 999 scrap the tax code. The guy has phenomenal momentum. He's got a lot of charisma. He's the conservative candidate. He's whipped out Rick Perry, who's lost the conservative. Why don't you reckon that Cain can win the nomination?
Only because he hasn't held elective office before, and I think Republicans are very concerned about making sure they get Obama out of there, and it would be dangerous to run someone who's never held elective office. And this is coming from someone who has supported Steve Forbes, Ellen Keyes, Pat Buchanan. There's something about having run for office. You prove that you have been able to appeal to independents, to some Democrats, in fact. And I thought it was pretty good coming out for Romney Cain. I mean, that's a lot for somebody who's never held elective office. I love Herman Cain, and I also, you mentioned his charisma. That's exactly what Romney lacks. Cain fills the hole that Romney has.
So you're now firmly behind Mitt Romney. This is a true shock.
Of the possible candidates? No, it's not a shock. I've been saying for 2 years, if Christie doesn't run, it's going to be Romney. And I'm going to support any Republican over Obama. And Romney is a million times better than McCain. He's better than George Bush. He's certainly no worse than George Bush, so just get used to it.
Cain's plan is simple, but it's simply wrong. It is regressive. It's anti-consumption. I don't understand, Larry.
I love anti-consumption.
You've got an economy.
That's what we need.
Excuse me. You've got an economy.
Too much and we don't invest
So you would like to flush.
Exactly right.
You'd like to flush 70% of the economy down the toilet.
Are you saying that we need more consumption?
No, I'm saying.
Can you find a single economist? I can go to the White House. Not one economist will say what we need in this country is more consumption. You don't know what you're talking about.
By consumer
spending. Oh, you got to be kidding. So this country is over-consumed and underinvested.
Right. So you know what you want to do? You want to put a tax
we can
on
go to the White
working
House. You can
people
ask your girlfriend.
so they can't go on bust up. Whereas the millionaires,
Jared
they're not going to be
Bernstein,
bothered by
Larry
it.
Summers all said the exact same thing. They would love a consumption tax.
And you know what? Grover Norquist is against it. So is the Wall Street Journal. What does that tell you?
The
Club for Growth thinks it's a good idea.
The Journal
missed that one.
I'm with the Journal on this. I really like his plan, but I don't like the national sales tax part of his plan. But let's come back to Ann's point. What if Cain overthrows the Republican establishment you were talking about before? I mean, it just occurs to me that the Republican establishment is not what it used to be. And by the way, I think Mitt Romney's a fine candidate, and I think he's doing great. But Cain's got the sizzle. He's just got the sizzle.
He totally does. I think it would be a mistake, and I don't think Republicans are going to make it because they want to take out Obama. And the reason the Wall Street Journal and perhaps even you, Larry, oppose the consumption tax is because you're trying to protect Warren Buffett.
No, I love the consumption tax.
You, Bernard.
It's the consumption tax.
I want to take Warren Buffett's money. I want to take Warren Buffett's money and create some jobs. And you know what?
Yeah, and we'll do that with a
given the fact that millionaires have benefited far more than anyone else, why not take a little bit of that money and use it to pay for tax credits to hire veterans?
Millionaires
that is the big lie. You're giving me the big lie.
It is not the big lie.
That's right.
Them's the fact.
What you want to say, they attack Herman Cain, but to pay for all Obama's spending over the long term, you're going to need massive taxes on the middle class. That's what's regressive. It's Obamanomics that's regressive.
Is a massive tax on the middle class. It has
you have no
nothing to
idea
do
if that's true.
With flattening tax.
You have no idea because you don't understand the fair tax
no one has any idea if that's true. They are cutting the payroll tax.
But you know what it shows?
I would take a pure consumption tax anytime.
A flat consumption tax?
We should have no taxes on investment, capital gains, dividends, inheritance, estate taxes, none whatsoever. And your team doesn't understand how important investment is. I got to get out of here. Free marketeers. I don't know. Cain did okay tonight. Bernard Whitman, thank you. James Pethokoukis, Ann Coulter, Michael Bloomberg, clean them up down there.